Okay, so now I mentioned in the previous video that you can actually pull data from forms that are currently on your own website. And if you watch through that data form video, you realize that, hey, there's a mapping component to ensure that that data maps to our global fields. So you need to do that with your pixel as well. If you plan on using data pixels and not using our data form system, you can map your data fields to your forms that are on your website, and you can do that in your pixel section. So if you come over here under controls, settings, integrations, and go to pixels, you'll see I have that pixel that I set up in earlier videos. This pixel I'm using for my tracking, and I'm also using an external data form on my website to track leads that come in through the external data form. However, you may have an external website that already has data forms or lead forms, and you don't want to go through creating our data forms and embedding those. You just want to put a pixel on and let data scrape. So to do that, once you create your data pixel, you have this embed script right here. So you can grab this embed script and put the whole thing on your website at the close of the body or in the head, or either one is fine. Then you can go in by clicking this edit icon. So when you come into it, now you have the option of setting up field mapping. So the way field mapping works, and let me go out to an external website. So this external website, this is not our form. This is not our data form. So this is a data form built in Elementor or some other CMS within WordPress. And to get this data into our system, what we're doing is we're listening for someone to submit this form. However, first name, last name, work email, company, they're similar to ours and they do map, but there may be the name of this field. Even though you see it as first name, the name of the form field maybe something weird like an ID or maybe F name or something like that, to where we can't map it. So when you set up a data pixel and you want to map data from pulling from a data form like this, you need to map the actual fields to your data form. And to do that, real simple, is you're going to right click on the form field and do inspect element. So when you do inspect element, it'll automatically highlight the code. If you're not an advanced user, don't freak out. Or if you've never seen HTML, this may be a little bit more difficult. You may want to use embed data forms that we have. But for the pixel to scrape data, and again, it can scrape data without needing to do the mapping. So I think you would want to map your data fields or your data pixel if once you put it on your site and it's not mapping the data over, because you may have just a simple form that's very easy to understand when you submit, where it's easy for us to understand what the data is that's coming to us, and we can pull it. However, in this case, this one's unique. This one has almost like it's an array of data that's sent over. Even though it has first name, it's in an array with first name, right? It's also first underscore name. So it's just this may not map properly out of the box. So to ensure that it'll map, we have data pixel mapping. And so once you go into your pixel integration, you have these data fields that you can add for field mapping. And so what I'll do is I'm going to hit add field mapping. You'll look for the field name and the global field that we want to map to in our system. So in this case, first name, you're looking for the name attribute. So this is already highlighted. You're looking for name. So here's name equal. And then you see how it says modic form, and then there's brackets and first name underscore name. If there is these brackets, right? So open bracket, close bracket, you only want what's inside the bracket. Most cases, you won't have a bracket. So you'll just copy whatever's in here. But if you see brackets, only grab what's in between the bracket. So in this case, there's brackets. So I'm going to grab that. I'm going to place that there. And then I'm going to map that to first name. And I'm going to hit save. Next, I'm going to grab the last name and copy over last name here. Remember, it's in brackets. And I'm going to come over here to add field mapping. put that as last name. Then work email, just grab work email and add field, and then do email. Now I'm going to grab company. Just again, if there's no brackets, copy everything in between the quotation marks. If there is brackets, only what's in between the brackets. And map that to company. Then phone number. So what we do for all this other data here, we actually will, that comes into the system as well, but it just doesn't map to our global fields. So that's phone number, and let's grab job title. All right, job title. Okay, that's pretty much it. So now when someone fills out this form and hits submit, what this is doing is passing all that data over, and instead of us not being able to see it because it's all in this, this funky array that we have to loop through, we're able to see it and map it, because we know when we get that attribute, that name attribute with first name just like that, we know to push it right into the lead system with first name. So really simple. If if you've never done inspect element and you freak out if you see any type of code at all, install the pixel. Most of the time it's going to pull the data regardless without any help. This is just for additional help for any forms that you may have that may have IDs for names, may have, like this one has an array for a name with brackets. It may have, just a weird alternative name for the actual field name that we wouldn't be able to find out what that field is, what they're submitting to map to our system if we didn't need a little help. So think of this as just a little added help if your pixel doesn't work and data is not coming across and you're not capable of going through here and really just finding out the attribute name and mapping it, then you're better off using our embedded data forms, which work very similar to any other form system that's out there.